welcome to everybody to my online biology class. Students, today I will explain the concept of the Mendelian laws of inheritance. It is the first part of a chapter 5 of class 12 biology. Name of the chapter is Principles of Inheritance and Variation. Students, myself Dr. Devrata Mukherjee, PGT Biology, Kendriya Vidyalaya number 1 Kachrapada. Nice meeting to you, hope you are fine. In this lesson we will study about the what content we will study. That's very important, we must know. So first of all we know the concept of the inheritance, then the Mendelian's law of the inheritance of one gene, that will be gradually we will explain. So the very next point we have to talk about the there are some questions came in our mind. Have you even wondered, do you have been asked yourself like these questions? There is a why are elephants always gives birth only to baby elephant, not some other animals? Why a mango seed from forms only a mango plant, not any other plant? So if they do it, offsprings identical to the parents. So do you know the another interesting question does it arise in your mind that the what are the differences in some of their characters? Why siblings sometimes look or sometimes absolutely similar or even some differences are there? So these are the general questions. If you would like to find out the answer of a question, we must have to deal with it scientifically in a branch of biology which will give you the answer, that is called genetics. Exactly the genetics is what? That's an important question. The subject deals with the inheritance as well as the variation of the characters from the parent to offspring, that is called the genetics. So now the question arises, the what is called the inheritance. So if you talk about the inheritance, if you are going to inheritance, it is a pattern by which the characters are passed from parent to offspring. It is a basis of the heredity, So whenever there is some, all the individuals are not identical, there is the concept of variation. What does it mean? That is degree by which parents differ from their offsprings. So here you see the pictures, the differences are found in the animals. So the ultimately how does it occur? Through sexual reproduction, which I am telling you, humans know about the variation that were about 800 to 1000, 8000 to 1000 BC, that one of the cause of variation was due to the sexual reproduction. So people would like to exploit the variation, and that was naturally present in wild population of plants and animals. So the concept of selective breeding came here, and they select the organisms which possesses the desirable characters. That is the question is coming. What are the examples? Though the artificial selection and domestication from ancestral wild cows, we have well known about the Indian breeds. That is the Shahiwal cow in the Punjab. So we must know the however recognize that though our ancestors know about the inheritance of the characters and variation, they had a little idea, they had the idea, but scientific basis was not known to them. So the genetics established the scientific idea of the cause of the variation and inheritance of the characters are there. So the credit goes to the geneticist. First time, Gregor Mendel, who is called as the father of genetics. Why? Because he first proved experimentally on a garden pea plant the principles of inheritance assortment. That means inheritance of the one trait had no effect on inheritance of the another trait. So when we are talking about the Mendelian, he introduced the law during the mid-19th century, that is the headway was made in the understanding of the inheritance. So you see now the picture of Mendel's working in the garden. So who was Gregor Mendel? That's we know it very well. He was being conducted the hybridization experiment on the garden pea especially for 7 years. Do you know in 1856 to 1863 and proposed the law of inheritance in living organisms. So the question came, what is this exactly? During this Mendelian's investigation into inheritance pattern, it was the first time, what is the credibility? The statistical analysis mathematical logic. This was applied to problems in biology first time. Large sample size, which gave a greater credibility to the data that he collected. The confirmed, the confirmed inference from the experiments, that is the successive generations of the test plant, has been found. So it ultimately regularly results the pointed to the general rule of the inheritance rather than being understand unsustainable ideas. So in this way, the very characters in the garden pea plant that was being manifested as two opposite traits. You see now, this one is a picture of the Pisum sativum garden pea plant. But the question came, why did he choose it? That's an important question. Reason for selection of garden pea plant for hybridization. Peas have many viable contrasting characters, tall and dwarf plant, round wrinkled seed. We will discuss it. They have the bisexual flowers, undergo self-pollination easily. And ultimately, third point will be coming, in pea plant cross-pollination can be easily achieved by emasculation, in which the stamen of flower is removed without affecting the pistil. Pea plant is an annual plant, short lifespan, and they have been producing many seeds in one generation. So here I am showing you the several pairs of the considerable contrasting traits in pea plant started by Mendel. So what is the reason for the selection of garden pea plant for this experiment? We are continuing the discussion. So the next point coming, flowers are predominantly self-pollinating. Next, the pea plants produce large number of seeds in one generation, and moreover plants could easily be raised, maintained and be handled also. So the now question coming, true breeding, the pea lines are there, and there will be the true breeding lines in one, that having the successive generation self-pollination